There
I
you
am
go.
unmuted. Hi,
You're all set.
everyone. I'm thrilled to be here today. And this topic is something that's kind of near and dear to me. And I just want to give you a little bit of a backdrop on that. I always made New Year's resolutions. And I was one of those that by March, I kind of even forgot what the resolution was. And I tended to make up a lot of excuses. Like if I was going to lose weight, I'd make up excuses that, the gym parking lot's too crowded in January and February, or I can't find a parking space. I mean, there always just seemed to be some excuse to not do what I had intended to do. I was introduced to the word of the year about 6 years ago. I was working with this business coach and she introduced it to me. And I've since then created my own program around it and always like to give her credit for introducing it to me. Her name is Christine Kane. She actually just came out with her first book and she has a wonderful podcast. So if you kind of like this type of content, I would recommend that you connect with Christine Kane, Kane. But the word of the year is a different way to create change and action for your upcoming year. And I'd like for you to look at it that way. Now, one of the things that's important for me to tell you right away is this is a bit of a workshop. So if you just thought that maybe you were just going to come and listen and not really do anything with your time, I'm going to ask you to get a different mindset here. I'd love for you to kind of take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out, be still, be present, and take this 1 hour for you. We all live crazy lives. We've got our to-do lists, but let's just take this hour out for you. And the time that we spend on your word of the year is going to really provide you some clarity. It's going to give you some direction, and it's going to end up you will end up having a word that you can embody and live by through next year for sure, so that you can reach those goals that you have and obtain those dreams that you have. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share a PowerPoint and there's going to be question prompts. So with those question prompts, I'd like you to grab a journal or, a nice tablet, because I'm going to be prompting you through some thinking. We ready to roll? I'll share my screen. Now, many of you may be aware of the book Race to Amazing. I published it 2 years ago, and since then it's gotten some recognition from HubSpot as one of the top best sales management books that every sales manager should read. And I'm really proud of that. It's not just for that particular year, but it's forever. So I really wanted to encourage anybody that's in a sales leadership capacity or leading sales, or someone that is leading sales, they might be interested in this book. But one of the things that I did when I was writing it is I wanted to get to the heart of being an amazing leader and living a purposeful and meaningful, amazing life. And with that, the word of the year came out in chapter 9. Chapter 9 is all about specific keys to getting amazing results. And I believe that the word of the year exercise is a number one key to getting amazing results in your life, in your relationships, and in your career. So I want to share that with you today. Now, before we begin, I'd like for you to tell us what your top resolution might be for 2021. If you never even heard of Word of the Year before, what would be your top resolution for 2021? And I'm going to ask Joel to help share those as we kind of chat them to each other.
So folks, go ahead and put that in the chat box. Make sure you've hit all panelists and attendees, and let us know what are your top resolutions for the new year. I know that Krista just gave a sneak peek of item 1, and it's actually the one that's on my list. It's always on my list, exercise more. I'm really good at starting exercise programs and really horrible at following through on them. I was doing a good job running earlier this year, And then the fires in California hit and all that smoke came this way. And I was like, it's hard to run. And I stopped. And the next thing you know, I haven't run since May or June or whenever it was. So we've got drink. Nope.
That's that excuse part that I was talking about before, right?
Yep. No, I'm just as good at finding ways to say, this is what I'm not going to do. We have drink more water, increase savings, manage time better, eat healthier, pet more animals and be fit enough to pet them all, engage with people with positive attitude, keep moving and be mindful, healthier lifestyle, work-life balance, exercise, launch a new business, be grateful rather than complaining. So lots of really great ones coming in out here. Focus on
awesome.
Health, launch a business. Good stuff coming in, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, so I wanted to share with the group some of the top resolutions for 2021 that some studies have shown. So first is exercise more, which often is number one, no matter what year it is. Lose weight, coinciding with that. Getting organized. There's a lot of self-help books out today with, getting your mind and your mindset right and decluttering your home and your workspace. So I think get organized is a very popular one. Learning a new skill or hobby. I think many people with 2020 staying home, maybe starting to rethink a new career potentially, or they want to continue to learn, develop, and grow. There's lots of new skills and hobbies that are surfacing. Live life to the fullest. That's number 5, and it doesn't surprise me. It's also, I think, an outtake of the type of year that we've had. There's people that are sitting there thinking, gosh, there's got to be more to life than what's happening right now. And what can I do better or different? Save more money, spend less money. Always that financial component, I think, is part of resolutions. Spending more time with family. And I think some of the people had mentioned family and included pets in that, right? As part of our family. I think we've got one more, which is getting another job. So I think too that with a lot of the high unemployment, that might be a top resolution for some of those on the line today, or someone who is going to be looking for another job. So think about these resolutions, and they can be overwhelming, right? I mean, these are big. And the problem, I think, after I discovered the word of the year, the problem with resolutions is they are kind of on the do level. I am going to do this. I am going to exercise more. I am going to lose weight. I am going to get organized. I am going to learn a new skill. They're all what I refer to as the do level. And that becomes overwhelming because we already have our to-do list. And, we're doing all day long. So what happens is we give up on it, or we prioritize, something else takes over, and it becomes very overwhelming. And then that's when the excuses start popping up. What I'd like for you to think about today is getting away from the do level and think about the be level. How are you going to be? How are you going to act? What's the end result? Focus on the be level, not the do level. I'll give you an example, kind of what that means. Look at the resolution that you put down and maybe you typed in. And it might be, I'll give you an example of what I had a few years ago. I am going to get organized, lose weight, and spend more time with family. Those were my resolutions. But whenever you take the do level and change it to the be level, it creates a higher commitment to your actions. I want to be more efficient so that I can be more organized. I want to be more healthy, or I want to be a better mother. Do you see the difference? I'm going to say them again. I want to get organized, lose weight, and spend more time with the family. But when you get down to the heart of that, it's being, not doing. So I want to be more efficient. I want to be more healthy. That's going to get me to lose weight. I want to spend more time with my family? Sure, I do. But what I really want to be is a better mother. So that's the difference between the word of the year and a resolution. So I just wanted to make sure that we kind of understood that getting into this exercise. Make sense? Anyone have any questions? Go ahead and type them in. So I'm going to walk you through a series of prompts or questions. This is actually a little bit of dreaming. It's a little bit of creative thinking, quiet time, being still, and dreaming and thinking and wishing and desiring and spending some of this personal one-on-one time with ourselves as we come up with our word of the year. Now, I put it into 3 parts. And so I'm going to do part 1, part 2, part 3. So when you see the different parts come up, you'll see a transition of how we're thinking to create our word. Now, what often happens, and I see people do this on Facebook and through the internet, what's your word of the year? What's your word? And people will type the first word that comes to mind, and that's likely plays a big part in what your word is, but it might not be the word. So you might come up with a word today, or you think you came to this session knowing what your word is, but after this exercise, it may or may not be that word. And that's something that we'll be discovering. So part 1 is what I refer to as really knowing your why. What are your intentions? How can you get clarity on what it is that you want? What is your why? And why do you even want to have this as your word? Okay. Now, before we get into the what is your why and creating your word and gaining clarity and intention, we want to live our best self, right? We want to give our God-given gifts back to the world. We all have inherent powers. We all have talents that we're born with. And these are our gifts. And when we're giving those gifts back, we're creating action and we're giving back to the world. When I think about what is your superpower, I have a great challenge for you as we begin this session. I'd like you to take a moment and I want you to grab your phone, give you a few moments, and I want you to text friends, colleagues, children, siblings, whoever you want. And I want you to ask them, what's my superpower? And let me define a little bit what a superpower is. So a superpower is that one specific talent, gift, uniqueness that you have that others see and they feel and they think about when they think of you. What is your superpower? What makes you unique and different? And what's that number one strength? You'll have fun in getting some of these answers back. But what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and text that now. I'll give you a few minutes. And then I want you to really be challenged by turning your phone off and putting it aside. I don't want you to look at what comes in until we're done with our session. Okay? So promise me that, because you could get way distracted with the stuff that's going to start flying back to you. So let's take a moment and do that. Now, I would do it. I'm going to follow this word of the year exercise along with all of you. But I've asked people a million times what my superpower is, so I don't want to send that redundant text. But it's great to receive some of that feedback. All right. So let's put our phones aside, turn them off and silent them, and we'll continue on the word of the year. So I want you to follow along with me, and I'm going to guide you through this exercise. I want you to write down the word or words, and I would caution you from putting down more than one word because it could get kind of complicated. But one word or words, one or two, I have 4 slots here, but no need for 4, that you're considering for the upcoming year. Now, I had mentioned just a few minutes ago that I'm going to do this exercise along with you. I do the word of the year every year. And what I happened to do this year, though, is I did a dream board, which you can see behind me. I did this just a few weeks ago at a retreat, and I haven't done my word of the year yet. You'll see lots of words pop up on my dream board. And I'm kind of curious, is my word of the year one of the ones on my dream board? I'm kind of doing it a little bit backwards, but this is my first go at creating my word of the year too. So I'll be working along with you. And Joel, I've asked you to do the same. So write down what you think, a word or multiple words that you're considering for the one word that you're going to live and embody and be. Be. I'm going to write down some of mine. It's hard to have one. I've already written down 4 myself. How about you, Joel?
So I take instruction well. So I chose one. Do you want me to share it? Do you want me to share it?
I would love for you to share it.
So my word that I chose, and I have a little bit of an advantage because of course I know a little bit more about where we're headed here and that sort of thing. I chose the word compete. And I chose that word because I retired from the University of Arizona after 25 years last year, and this is my first year working with unique venues. And I've always called this my capstone career. And it's been a crazy, challenging year. And so there's lots of reasons why this year has unfolded the way that it has. But in thinking about some things, you know, the last few weeks and just now, I feel like what I need to do is I need to challenge myself to achieve new heights, to not just settle for this being a capstone career and coast through it, but I need to challenge myself to really compete and be the best version of Unique Venues Joel that I can be. Just like I can compete then fitness-wise, and instead of just thinking I need to go for a run, it's I need to sign up for a 5K or a 10K and see where I can place in my age group. Or I need to get on my bike so I can ride El Tour and see if I can actually get a gold time for once, because I've never been able to accomplish. Like I need to, I'm that person that's a competitor, and I think if I can compete in work, in personal life, like I need to set some goals for our family for next year that are competitive goals, to say this is what we're going to accomplish together, because I think that's something that helps drive me forward.
Yeah, you know what I loved about your word and your thought process behind the word, Joel, is it impacts and affects all parts of your life. So it is about your life, your career, your relationships, and that one word could embody you, you know, to take action and to live in a certain way moving into 2021. I'm struggling. I wrote down a few.
One of our participants has 6 words and counting.
You know, it's great to have a lot of words, because it's likely that they're synonymous. And you'll find that if you do have 4, 5, or 6 words, you'll start crossing them out. And then you'll end up with your final word. So it's okay to have more, just makes it a little bit more thought-provoking. I have 1, 2, 3, I have 5. I really don't know what mine is yet. So this is going to be great for me. My first one was inspire, action, love, giving, and heart. And I have no idea why I came up with those, except they just felt right. Now I'm going to ask you, if you did come up with multiple words, is there a way to kind of bring those down to 1 or 2? And let's kind of look at our list and bring them down to 1 or 2. And you might even change them. Okay, I've got my 2. So why do you think this word or these words are perfect, is the perfect word for you this year? And I'd like you to journal that, just write it out, kind of very similar to what you were describing, Joel. But let's just kind of get that down. And you can bullet it, you can write it out however you want to keep, kind of keep this program going. Why is it just the perfect word? And I really would like someone to share, Joel, if we can, either open the line or however you want to handle that. But if someone could give us their word and why it's a perfect word for them this year.
So if anyone is willing to come on screen, I have Callie has her hand up. Callie, if that means that you are willing to come on screen, give me a quick acknowledgement in chat. And I will, oh, there goes the hand. Oh no, it's still there. Yeah, she said, sure. Okay, I'm gonna allow you to come on and talk.
Yay.
And we're gonna bring you up for the moment. So Callie, you're coming on screen.
Hi, Callie.
You'll need to unmute yourself, Callie, there you go.
Hi there. I don't know what I
Hi.
look like on screen because I wasn't prepared to do this. Okay. Hi, my name is Kylie Howard. My word that I chose was invest. And the reason that I felt like it was a really good word is because it kind of encompasses, I'd say maybe the 4 different facets of my life currently, as a small business owner, as an event planner of our university, and as a mom and as a friend. I really want to find ways to invest into my business to make it even better than it is now. Obviously, I want to be investing in relationships, in my children, in my marriage. I want to be investing in relationships with the people that I'm surrounded by. I haven't done that great of a job in quarantine or, during pandemic times, in investing in relationships outside of my home. So that's something that I really want to challenge myself with this year. And then I also want to invest in myself as a professional employee, not just in my small business, but in my life as an employee of the university.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing too. And if you don't mind, we'll probably come back to you in a few more question prompts to see if that's still your word, or if maybe there's a little bit of an adjustment to that. But it sounds like you've got some solid thinking behind it. Thanks.
Thanks, Callie.
I wanted to share something that I did with a girlfriend, and I would encourage you to do this word of the year with a friend, with a sibling, a spouse. My husband and I typically do it together. Usually when we're in a car or we're traveling somewhere for a long period of time, we'll do it. And the reason that I suggest doing it with someone is the other person can kind of be a coach and can challenge your thinking. And I was on an airplane with my best friend. We were flying from Baltimore to the West Coast. I think we were going skiing in Utah. So it was a long flight. And we did this for the majority of the flight. I mean, we really took our time. And so it could really be very, very impactful if you spend the time on it and quality time with other people on it. I'm going to make sure that you have a copy of the Word of the Year exercise that you can repurpose every year. And you also, use it with someone in your family, or maybe take it and do some additional quiet time on your word after this session. So we all should have 1, 2 words that are really resonating with us right now as we move forward. This is still part 1. If you embodied this word daily, what would be different for you? Daily kind of feels like a big commitment, doesn't it? I almost wanted to change my word. Next question is, in what ways do you already live and embody this word? Just go ahead and make a list. What are ways that you already are embodying and living that word today? And then ask yourself, in what ways do you not live or embody this word? I want to let the listeners know and realize that you may be at a point in the exercise where you're going back and saying, whoa, that's not my word. I need a different word because it just isn't feeling right. If you're in that space, no worries, because you don't have to decide on what your word is until the end of this exercise. Hopefully you're real comfortable and clear on that. It's not unusual or uncommon to go back and scratch out words and come up with new ones. So don't beat yourself up on that. So here's the next prompt. And I think that it's important to realize that we're sitting here in December 2020. And if you were to live this word daily throughout 2021, how would your life be different 1 year from today? How would your life be different if you were to take this one word and live it daily? Joel, do you want to share with us kind of where you are at this stage? Have you changed your word?
I haven't. I'm still rolling with it because I think it fits well into multiple aspects of my life and is kind of the right mindset I need at this point. And if I were to live the word compete daily throughout the year, a year from now, I would be healthier because I would not, the first time it's a little cold out, or the first time maybe my allergies are bothering me a little bit, just give up on my exercise plan. But I would be competing towards some end goal or series of goals. I would be financially doing well, because I would blow away my sales goals for the year, because I'd be competing to not only hit that goal, but to blow by it, and stare at it in the rearview mirror. And I'd be more engaged with family and friends, because instead of just saying, you know what, let's just sit here and watch TV or watch a movie or something like that, I'd be challenging myself to find it through some of these other activities as well, to spend quality time and be engaged in life, instead of letting, this year has been really easy to just let life dump on you and push you down and sit there. And I think more than ever coming out of that, I'm going to need to really be in a competitive mindset to say, we're not going to go through another year like that.
Yeah, that's great. Something that we hear frequently from many of our clients and colleagues and friends is that they feel very stagnant. And so many words that are coming out for people are very actionable, because they want to take action. They want to make a difference. They want to have impact. They don't just want to sit at home, or, just not be doing. And I think that many words that are going to come out of today are probably highly actionable for that reason. Anyone have any thoughts? Have they changed their word?
If anyone has changed their word, you can let us know in the chat box.
And what was the word and what is the word now? Is Callie still invest?
Kylie, we could check on Kylie as well if she wants to do that. Miranda has told us her word changed with the last question. It went from persevere to intention. So that's great. And Kylie is willing to join again. So let me go ahead. If Kylie wants to come up,
great.
We're going to bring you on up right now. While Kylie's coming up, Lauren changed her word from optimistic to willingness, but doesn't want to be on camera. That's fine, Lauren. No worries at all. Jennifer's gone from stretching to purposeful.
Nice.
All right.
Hi. Yeah.
How about you, Kylie?
No, so I actually kept it. I found that by asking myself questions, I kind of discovered that it kind of applied to a few more areas of my life that I really want to try to do better at investing in my spiritual health, as well as obviously finances. Like we hear invest most often as a financial goal. And I didn't really think of it that way at first, but one of the things that I wrote down at the very beginning when we were talking about resolutions was to increase our savings and start maybe saving for our children's college. So I was able to kind of broaden the definition of invest for my year just by asking myself the questions.
Yeah. And so how would your life be different when you thought about this question? How would your life be different a year from today if you lived that word?
So if I lived that word, obviously my mindset is going to be a lot different at the end of 2021. I'm going to be thinking a lot more futuristically as opposed to the here and now. And I kind of, when looking at the other two questions, I kind of flip-flopped them. And so I was able to really quickly identify ways that I was already living and embodying the word, as far as, I do try to reach out to people. I do try to connect. But a lot of the times my follow through isn't there. So the way that it would be different, my life would be different, or the way I would be different a year from now would be, I would obviously have more follow through with those. Like I would reach out and respond more rather than letting people just sit unread for a little bit on my text messages or stuff like that. I'm going to ask
you a follow-up question to that, Kylie. How would you be?
I would be, I think that I would feel a little bit more content, I guess, rather than spending my year as a consumer and just, I don't know, consuming. I would get to pour into other people. And one of my gifts is hospitality. So being able to invest in other people is something that brings me joy. So if I spend 2021 more intentional with investing in other people and investing in our future financially, investing, like I said, in my spiritual health,
you would be content.
Yeah, and peaceful.
I like that. And sometimes when we ask ourselves that question, rather than the do, think about the be. Well, if I do this, invest in this and have these kind of conversations and invest in myself spiritual, how am I going to be? And sometimes the be changes the word. And I'm not challenging you on your word. I'm trying to help other people think through this as well. Is the word invest or is the word peaceful?
So funny.
Is the word content? And I don't know whether it is or it isn't, but I'm offering that as some thoughts, especially for those that are on the line that aren't really understanding what I mean by being. And it's almost like your actions, your doing, your actions will create this sense of being and really connecting to that feeling. That's easier to chase because that's how you want to be. Then there's a bunch of actions that'll get you there. But it's fun to have that dream of that, oh, this is how it'll be. This is how I'll feel.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Kylie.
Thanks, Kylie. We'll come back to you. Anyone have any questions or something I'd like you to do for me, Joel? Could you read some of those before and after? I want to see if some of them are getting a little closer to that feeling opposed to the action. Just curious.
Yeah, so we had one going from persevere to intention, one going from optimistic to willingness, one going from stretching to purposeful, and one going from successful to satisfied.
Boy, those are good. I mean, I just got to chill on that last one. I don't know why. Something felt good about that. Because successful is means things to different people, but gosh, to be satisfied is so successful.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had one more pop in. Someone went from organized to content. I think you're the conversation and listening to Kylie a little bit about being content. That's another great word. Is there's lots of ways to be content.
Yeah, and Kylie used the word, I think it was peaceful. It's almost like if she does all this investing, how is she going to feel about her finances, about her career, about her relationships? And it's something to strive for. Yeah. All right, we're going to keep going. This is a fun one. What would you have created, manifested, or attracted if you lived and embodied that word every day? This is where the creativity comes in. This is where the dreaming comes in, because I want you to what would you have? What would be coming your way? What positive energy would you be putting out to the world that you would be creating and attracting in return if you were living that word every day? Okay. I'm going to share something with you, Joel, and then we'll let everyone kind of wrap up the list of 10. And there could be many, many more than 10. But I've done this exercise multiple times in my life with, I've never done it this way where I've actually done it while I'm instructing it. So I'm struggling a little bit here with what my word is, and I've crossed off multiple ones. But the one that I'm kind of really feeling right now, based on where we are in this process, is that word being keeps coming up. And I don't, that I just want to be still. But the word that's resonating for me is heart. And I don't know where that's coming from, but when I think about what I want to, I have this mantra where I want to do more heart work than hard work. And for those of you that have known me most of my life, which most of you don't, I was go, 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 work, 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 work. When I started my business 18 years ago, I'd be working 60 hours a week, do, build a successful training organization. But I'm tired, and I want to do things that are more meaningful. I want my work to have greater impact. I want to really connect with others at the heart level. And so I'm rebranding, I'm shifting some things. That's why I enjoy this type of conversation, because we are getting to the heart of things here. So that word heart keeps coming up. And what I would be, if I lived with heart first instead of hard work, what I would be creating or manifesting or attracting would be openness and real people. I want to talk to more real people and hear their real stories. And I want to get clarity on my own self, just being and doing more heart work. I want to attract openness from others and love. And I think I'd be manifesting the right people in my life. I think that the right people, I'd be attracting the right people that could learn something from me. I don't know, but I'm still kind of stuck. How about you, Joel?
Yeah, this was a little bit harder part of the exercise. I think I need more time, obviously, to kind of sit with it and chew on it a little bit. A couple things that I think about, again, using the word compete. What that manifests for me is a drive, a daily drive to get up and be focused on the goals instead of just, I wonder what's in my email today, or which meetings do I have to sit through. It's more about where am I headed and having a drive to keep my eye on that prize, whatever that prize is out there related to that, which means that I will create goals, broader goals that I'm working with right now. This has been a hard year for goals because we kind of threw them all out the window in March. And then and I think, personally and professionally, we've done bridge goals maybe, but I think we've lost the ability, or I've at least lost the ability to really set clear, actionable goals. And so that's something that I can create out of this. And in doing so, I think I'm going to attract people that have a similar drive and mindset. So again, maybe I was really good at riding my bike when I had a riding partner. And when he moved away to another institution, I lost my kind of ability to do that on a regular basis. And so if I'm putting it out there in the world and I'm taking more risks and doing things, maybe I attract someone with a similar drive that has a similar mindset and wants to accomplish some of the same things. And I can bring a person like that back into my life to help me continue to push forward on the things that I want to accomplish.
Yeah, that's a great one. And you're still with compete.
Yeah, it's still working with me right now.
Okay, great. And I'm not suggesting.
We've had a couple other people chime in that they're still sticking with their original word too. So
that's great. What are some of the original words?
We had, let's see. Oh, where is it gone? We had someone state it positive and someone state it focused.
Great.
And patient, Leela, balance. Someone else is sticking with authentic or authenticity. Good words people have out there.
Yeah, they are great. All right. Well, we're going to go into part number 2. And this one gets a little bit intense. That's why it's kind of good to be really clear on the word going into it. But if you don't worry about it. And again, sometimes this just needs a little bit more time, or you do this exercise with someone one-on-one and you get that coaching. So awareness and elimination, and this is great whenever you have multiple words, but if you want to be a certain way or make the changes or reach your goals or take action, often we have to give up something in order to gain something. And often we need to eliminate certain bad habits out of our life to make space for new and better habits to help reach our goals. So that's what part 2 is about, is really knowing those triggers that stop us in our tracks from reaching our objectives, really creating understanding and discovery and awareness around what you might need to let go of. And once you have awareness in these areas, it's easier to say, oh, that's a trigger. That's why I'm stopped in my tracks. Okay, forget that. And I'm going to move on and keep moving forward. But if you don't know what they are and spend some time on it, sometimes they could really shrink you. And we're not in the business of shrinking. So I want you to think about 3 things that trigger you to shrink or to run in the opposite direction of your why or your word. Just list those 3 things. And sometimes these could be, quite personal, but 3 things that shrink you. These triggers that just, I can't do it. Maybe it is negativity. Maybe it's that little voice in your head. Could be big, could be small. Maybe it's a person. But what could stop you or make you run from this word? Anything you want to share with us, Joel?
Sure. So I've come up with 2 so far. One, I think when I talk about the word compete would be fear, because I'm getting up there in age and I like to believe I'm still capable of going out and doing some of the things from a exercise and fitness perspective that I once was, but I have to acknowledge that everything doesn't work quite as well as it once did. It's been 11 years since I rode an El Tour de Tucson, and it's been probably 15 years since I was running in any measurable kind of pace. And there's from fear, I think, sometimes, of thinking, what if I get into this and realize I'm just not capable of doing it? And it's just easier to say, well, then let's not find out. So I think that's one. I think another one, like if I think on the work side of it, I think time can sometimes be a trigger. It's easy for me to fall back on, well, I'm just too busy, right? I've already spent 9 hours here. I'm not going to take the extra 10th hour and go the extra mile or get a little bit ahead or focus on a particular outcome. And, you know, like you said, early in my career, I spent lots and lots and lots of hours to make a name for myself. And again, I think I want to challenge myself to make a name for myself again, maybe not to the degree that I did the first go around, but I don't want to just rest on my laurels and my legacy and say, hey, it's good enough. Like I really want to challenge myself and not let time be the barrier to doing that.
Yeah, those are great. I think fear of failure is probably the number one trigger for most people, you know, or confidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Not knowing for sure that can you really pull these things off.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to share some triggers that came up, feel free to do that.
So April also listed fear on her list, probably on, mentions that it's probably on a lot of people's list. Samantha, conflict and doubt. April's also including complacency. Some more self-doubts and conflicts coming in. Judgment, confidence, negativity, and fear. Lack of support. There's a trigger I know a lot of us might also experience. Mm-hmm. Fear, perfectionism. Okay, there's one that might go on my list. Frustration.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good one.
Challenge, fear of change, exhaustion or overexertion, lack of immediate results, trying to stay the course. Some great stuff coming in from everyone. Yeah. Clearly, people are taking the time to work their way through this exercise.
That's great.
Comparison. Yeah, good words, everyone.
Yeah. So we're going to work through a couple more questions before we get to kind of the final part 3. But now we're thinking about, okay, we've got these triggers, we're aware of them. And what can we do now? Some of these old patterns, they have been around for a while, and they might have been keeping you from living this word up to this point. So what old patterns or default settings have kept you from living this word until now?
And while you're working and we're working on that, I'm just going to acknowledge to folks, we're probably going to run a bit over today because I think we're doing really well on this session here. I know many of you are probably going to stick with us. If you can't, know that this is being recorded and we will put it up on our website within a couple of days so you can catch the tail end of it. I'm going to launch the session poll. Just if you have to go, tell us how we did. But Krista and I are going to stay here for as long as we need to get through the last part of this and help people have a great jump start on setting their word of the year. So
thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, for those of you that are needing to get off the line, if you go to KristaMoore.net, you'll see that you can download the Word of the Year exercise, which is basically kind of a mini workbook of these prompts and spaces to write. So KristaMoore.net, and then you should be able to download that resource. There may be a pop-up right there that you just fill out and it'll send it to you. Thank you. And if you've got to jump off, I certainly understand. We only had this planned for an hour. Thank you for joining us. Now we're kind of moving more away from the negativity, or really doing a little bit of a shift in our mindset here by thinking about proactive habits or practices that you can incorporate into your life as a means of supporting really supporting you in embracing this word more fully. So what are some things that you can do proactively, maybe create new habits that you can begin to incorporate in your life as a way of supporting this word that you want to embody and to embrace? This might feel more tactical, and I think that that's great. And I'd like to bring Kylie back up if you could, Joel, if she's willing to share how she's coming along.
Let's see, let me find Kylie here and see if she's willing to come back up. Just looking, yep, got a sure, okay, bringing you up. There you go.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay.
So how are you doing with this exercise so far?
Yeah, I think I took a little bit of a pivot here. Obviously wanting to, when I picked my word, I shifted from the be back into the do. I want to invest. So shifting back into the be, I really, really want 2021 to be less about myself and more about maybe like what I can be for other people, or like I said, investing and pouring into other people. And so I think that I'm changing my word to purposeful or purpose driven. So yeah, the triggers really helped with that and figuring out, what is it that I really want to be for other people, and I really want to live a life of purpose, and that purpose being investing in others and investing in the future. So
yeah, that's great. That's a really good interesting way that you came around to that. And it did have to do with that do, or how do you want to feel? How do you want to be? I love that.
Yeah.
So in essence, by being purposeful
Mm-hmm.
and living purposefully, you believe that by being that way, you're going to reach those goals that were aligned to that investment piece. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I try to think about it like, what word can I apply to daily decisions that I make that would result in me properly investing my time and my money and my brain space and my energy into. And I think if I'm able to ask myself, okay, is this me being purpose driven or being purposeful? Am I being purposeful with my time? Am I being purposeful with my money? Am I being purposeful with my energy? That's going to get me to that. Okay, I need to do a better job of investing my resources.
Great.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Make sure that everything is plugged in here properly. I'm going to step away just for a moment because my screen dimmed and it made me concerned.
Okay. No worries at all. We would not want to lose you in the middle of the presentation. I would not be able to carry forward. Sometimes I could, probably not on this one. And while she's doing that, I actually posted my what is my superpower to my Facebook. And I'm not looking, but my phone keeps like letting me know I have notifications. So I'm dying to get to the end of this session.
Oh yeah.
and
No,
see
that's
what
the
all of
fun
my-
part.
See what my Facebook friends have decided my superpower is.
I'm going to just do one thing here on my end, Joel, just to make sure that we don't lose this.
Absolutely.
Sorry for this interruption.
No worries at all. Janet had thrown out she's already taped her word of the year to her monitor. So Janet's already got it right front and center, taped to her monitors, where she'll see it every day when she's doing her work, which I think is a great idea. And again, for those of you that have stuck with us, thank you very much. We're into part 3, the bringing it home part of it. And if you haven't already, don't forget, I put it in the chat, but you can go to KristaMoore.net and you can get the Word of the Year resource there so that you are able to kind of go back through your notes from today and use the workbook approach to really flesh out all the elements of landing on and then ultimately, developing the pieces that support your following through on your commitment to that Word of the Year. And hopefully I've done just enough filler here to get Krista back and ready to drive again.
Yeah, so I think it's still questionable, but we're gonna keep moving.
Fingers crossed.
So this is part 3, and this is where, okay, we've come up with what we think is our word, and it's okay to change it. It's okay to change it now or tomorrow or whenever you want to do the exercise again. But I want you to really be thinking about, how do I take this word and apply it? And that's where the superpower exercise really comes in. I am going to give you a chance to go back and look at those superpowers and realize that you have it in you. That you have the talent, you have the gifts, you have the actions, you have the energy, and other people recognize that in you. And how can you take those superpowers and take the dream of what you want for next year and know what that vision is and really live it and put it into action? Very different than just having a resolution. So I do want you to list 5 goals, big or small, that you'd like to accomplish in the coming year based on the word that you chose. What are those actions? What are those goals? One thing with goals that usually we learn in business too is that the goal should have a timeline, be realistic, and certainly attainable. So we're saying the timeline is you want to get it accomplished within the year. It's based on that word that you chose. And is it realistic? And is it obtainable? Now I want you to do a little bit of journaling. What would be a home run for you in the coming year? This can be a big dream. It could be a certain amount of money. It can be a way that you're going to live each day. But when you look back and reflect on 2021, at the end of next year, what would be that home run? You can write it out in detail. You can bullet it. Could be completely imperfect. It's okay. But just get those thoughts out. What would that big dream, that big home run, that big success be for you if you were to live it every day? Do you have a big dream or a big goal, big home run, Joel?
Yeah, it'd be a placing in the gold category of El Tour. For those that don't know, El Tour de Tucson is a perimeter bicycle race. It's 111 miles. It goes around the entire perimeter of Tucson. We have mountains here, not just hills, but mountains in my part of the world. So it includes some pretty good climbs and things like that. And in the 4 years back in my late 30s when I was competing, I missed by 7 minutes one time, and had one other time where I was in the best shape of my life and my chain broke halfway through the bicycle race, and I had to call my wife to bring me my mountain bike, and I finished on my mountain bike. And so for me, all of the other things would be, in terms of overall health and fitness level and drive and things like that, would be capitalized by seeing a gold result in El Tour in November.
That's beautiful. Yay. That's a big home run. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
One of the things that I teach and train a lot around is purpose and passion, and rediscovering what your purpose and passion is so that you can soar in your life with more meaning in your relationships and in your career. I don't want you to give up on your dreams and in search of an easier way or a different path. So the word of the year is kind of your compass. It's your direction. And I hope that this exercise helped you understand better how you can be and not necessarily do in order to obtain your goals. So I'd like for you to chat a little bit. I will be what? I will be what? What is the magic word in there? Just so that you all know, again, you can go to KristaMoore.net and download the Word of the Year resource. Also, I'm doing a lot of Word of the Year work during the month of December on my Facebook and on YouTube and in LinkedIn, interviewing different people on the subject of Word of the Year and sharing different techniques and tips to clarify what your Word of the Year could be moving forward. So check me out, follow me, would love to stay connected. Now you can go look at your phone. So I want to hear what others feel your superpower is. Now, this exercise is a lot of fun. I highly recommend that you take what you've received, and let's say you get it from 10 different people. Cut and paste them, put them in a document, and spend some time on that. I think what you'll discover is there's some common terms, some commonality in what people are coming back to you with. And I see you smiling there, Joel.
Yeah, I have I still have connections with a lot of my former conference students, And one of them listed hospital corners, because that was, you know, a big part of teaching people how to do housekeeping, was teaching them how to do hospital corners. So it's kind of a joke. And then she threw in patience. I get a lot of patience, calm, facilitation, unflappability. It's a nice exercise to kind of see how other people see you.
See you, yeah.
Even if you don't necessarily always feel or see yourself that way.
That's right. I'd love for some others to share their superpower if they have a moment.
Go ahead and throw them in chat. What's your superpower, or what's the kind of that common theme that rises out of there? Helper. Christy's a helper. See if others want to share their clear thinker from Tarisha. April's got positivity, resilience, and rational. Ashley didn't have a theme, but compassion, pragmatic, efficient, problem solver. We've got Julie with patient and hardworking, Patty with steady and calm. My pleasure, Tarisha. I got it right since I messed Kaylee's up before. Kaylee's organized in hospitality. Janet is the best mother-in-law ever. Leela's a problem solver and organized. Again, really great common themes and things that I would expect to find typically in planners and venue managers.
That's right. Yeah. Well, the connection between the superpower exercise and the word of the year is really a way for you to see how others see you. And if you have aspirations and you have dreams, that you don't take the shortcut or you don't give up on those, but that you continue to live and embody that word that you came up with today. And you have the superpowers that align to it in order to make it happen in your life. And there's no need to do it alone. I would share your word with others and get them understanding that, hey, this is the direction that I'm going in. I need your help. I need your support. I need your reminding me that I can do this. And definitely engage others in your word of the year for next year so that you can stick to it and reach those dreams. So I'm going to leave everyone today. Any final questions? I can go ahead and take them.
Looks
Again,
like
you can get the exercise, and I highly encourage you to do it with some friends and family. It's a great thing to do with your partner, business partner or spouse.
Yeah, I'm actually I mentioned to my daughter we were doing this because she was saying I need to make some resolutions and stick to them. And I said, well, hey, actually I have a webinar. She's in class at the moment, but I said we're going to record it and she can watch it. And I think it is a good exercise to do with her and to walk through and to see kind of what she's thinking, and maybe we can hold each other accountable then to following our word and achieving the things that we set out to achieve. So thank you, Krista, as always.
Yeah.
It's a real pleasure.
The one thing I wanted to show you too is another follow-up exercise. If anybody has never done this before, it's fun. So maybe if you do it with another person, you can then carry it into what is referred to as a business board or a dream board. So it takes your ideas and kind of get some magazines, some words, cut them out. This is my dream board for the year. And like I said before, I wasn't sure what my words were going to be, but heart was a big one. And look at that. I had this big heart and the big word heart there on the page. I have be, because it's important to me to be instead of do. Passion, discovery, soar with passion and purpose, which is kind of my new theme for my business. Yeah. So this is a great thing to do. I keep this in my office all the time, refer to it, and it's great inspiration.
That's awesome.
And a fun activity. It's a good New Year's activity.
And I can get my daughter to do mine because she loves that kind of stuff and I'm horrible at that kind of stuff. So we can, again, good collaboration and work together there.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 words for everyone on the line, and that's thank you. And I appreciate your time today. I appreciate you taking the time out to take care of you and to prepare for a bigger and better next year. Thank you.
And thank you, Krista. As always, It's a pleasure having you on. I'm getting lots of good comments from people saying thank you. They really enjoyed the session. So good luck to everyone as you continue to work your way through establishing your word of the year, and best wishes for a happy new year. Now, one reminder to everyone that's still here, we have our end of year celebration for Unique Venues on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And it's going to be, we're going to do some trivia, we're going to do a scavenger hunt, and if nothing else, we're just all going to get together and celebrate the fact that 2020 is almost over and 2021 is around the corner. So if you're free, get yourself signed up for our end of year celebration this Thursday, 2 days from now, 2 p.m. Eastern. And with that, thank you everyone for attending today. Thank you again to Krista, and we will see you all on a future Unique Venues webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.